When Emily tilted her phone toward the light, smiling at the screen, I didn't think much of it. Couples share moments, right? But then I caught a glimpse, her and Daniel, her ex, in photos that looked anything but innocent. His arm draped over her shoulder, her leaning close, the kind of closeness that erased years of supposed distance. I asked carefully, "Why are you still talking to him?" My voice was calm, but my chest burned with questions I didn't want to voice. Emily didn't flinch. She didn't hide her phone or scramble for excuses. She just smirked and said, "If you're jealous, that's your problem." The words sliced through me sharper than any confession of betrayal could have. She wasn't apologetic, wasn't defensive, she was dismissive, as though my pain was nothing more than an inconvenience she could brush off. That night, I lay awake beside her, staring at the ceiling while her steady breathing filled the silence. My mind replayed everything. Our promises, the years of loyalty, the sacrifices I made so she could pursue her dreams. And now here she was, openly mocking the very foundation of our marriage. By morning, I didn't recognize the man in the mirror. Not because I had changed overnight, but because the illusion of what we had was shattered. I saw clearly what Emily had become, or maybe what she had always been. When she poured her coffee and said casually, "Don't overthink it, David. They're just pictures," I realized something. She wasn't testing me, she was daring me. Daring me to either swallow my pride, or to finally stand up. I didn't argue. I didn't shout. I only replied, "Okay." That one word carried more weight than she could have guessed. Because while she thought I was retreating, I was already preparing. Inside me, the storm was silent but unrelenting. Emily thought jealousy was my problem. Soon, she would learn it was her mistake. Over the next few days, I noticed how bold Emily had become. She no longer tilted her phone away. Instead, she scrolled openly, laughing at messages from Daniel, as if I weren't even sitting there. When I asked where she was going in the evenings, she'd shrug and say, "Out. Don't wait up." Each word dripped with contempt, daring me to object. But I didn't. I played the part of the silent husband, the one she thought was too weak to fight back. What Emily didn't realize was that I had already shifted my energy. While she entertained her ex, I was securing myself, closing shared accounts, rerouting paychecks into my own savings, and quietly moving assets into places she couldn't touch. Every okay I gave her was another brick in the wall I was building between us. One Friday evening, she waltzed in past midnight, perfume clinging to her clothes. She looked at me with a smirk and said, "What? Going to interrogate me now? Don't be insecure, David." Her voice carried that same mocking edge, but I only smiled. "No, Emily. You're free to do whatever you like." Her eyes narrowed. That wasn't the response she expected. She thrived on conflict, on pushing my buttons, on watching me unravel. But my calm unsettled her more than any argument could have. The next day, I ran into Daniel by coincidence at a cafe. He looked smug, arrogant, exactly as I imagined the kind of man Emily would keep entertaining. When he smirked and said, "Guess she still likes talking to me," I didn't flinch. I only leaned closer and said, "Enjoy it while you can." His smile faltered just slightly, but I left without another word. Back home, Emily was waiting, clearly itching for me to explode. "So, jealous yet?" she asked, waving her phone like a weapon. I met her gaze steadily. "No, Emily. I'm done being jealous. I'm done playing games." She laughed, dismissing me once again. But inside, I knew the tide had already turned. She thought I was standing still. In reality, I was already 10 steps ahead, preparing the ending she would never see coming. The silence between us grew heavier, though Emily still mistook it for weakness. She flaunted her late nights, her texts, even slipped Daniel's name into conversations just to watch my reaction. But the more she pushed, the calmer I became. Because I already knew how this story would end. One evening, she finally laid her cards on the table. "David," she said coldly, "maybe you should find someone else who can handle your jealousy. Daniel actually makes me feel alive." She waited for me to explode, to beg, to fight. But I didn't. Instead, I slid an envelope across the table. "Then I guess you'll need this." Inside were divorce papers, neatly prepared, signed on my end. Along with them was a summary of our accounts. Every cent she thought we shared, already separated, secured under my name. Her smirk evaporated. "What is this?" she demanded, her voice rising. "It's what you wanted," I replied evenly. "Your freedom. Go chase whatever makes you feel alive. Just know you won't be doing it with my support, my house, or my savings." Her face paled as she scanned the documents. She realized quickly that while she was busy rekindling old flames, I had been protecting everything I built. She had mocked me for being too quiet, too patient, but my silence had been strategy, not surrender. "You can't do this," she snapped, her voice cracking with panic. "I already did," I said calmly, standing from the table. "You told me jealousy was my problem. Turns out the real problem is yours. You traded loyalty for attention, and now you have neither." She sat there, stunned, her phone buzzing uselessly on the table. For the first time, she wasn't in control. Daniel couldn't fix this for her. No smirk, no laugh, no mocking word could undo the consequences. As I walked out the door that night, suitcase in hand, I felt no rage, no sorrow. Only freedom. Emily wanted to test my limits, to belittle my worth, to push me into breaking. Instead, I showed her the strength she never believed I had. In the end, she kept her pictures, her hollow flings, her empty pride. And I kept everything that truly mattered, my dignity, my peace, and my future. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't shouting, or fighting, or begging. It's walking away so quietly, so completely, that the person who underestimated you is left choking on their own regret.